Today I'm going to show you how to make my allergy-free paleo pumpkin pie-lets. And it's pie-lets because instead of using a 9-inch conventional pie tin, I'm going to make it in a cupcake tin. And the reason I decided to do this was because back in the day when I worked on Wall Street, I used to bring in whole pies to the office for my coworkers, but I ended up eating the whole thing myself. And eventually I looked like Miss P with an attaché case. So I decided I had to eat a different kind of pie. I went to the store and there really wasn't anything there that was appropriate. Everything had sugar and lard. So I decided I was going to have to figure out how to make a nutrient-dense, sugar-free, low-glycemic, high-protein, delicious pumpkin pie so I wouldn't look like Miss Piggy anymore. So 20 years later, I have figured it out and I am going to share it with you today. So we're going to start with our crust. We're going to use ½ cup of gluten-free oats. Now, oats are inherently gluten-free. However, because they are grown in fields with wheat, the wind brings the wheat onto the oats and then they become contaminated with gluten. So companies have decided to grow their oats in dedicated fields so they can call their oats gluten-free. Those are the ones we use at the bakery. If gluten is not an issue, you don't have to worry about it. We grind that into somewhat of a flour. It doesn't have to be completely ground. The second thing we're going to use is sunflower seeds. Now, sunflower seeds are high in protein, vitamins, and minerals. They also add a nice texture to the crust, which I love. Then we're going to add in a tablespoon of chia seed. Now, chia seed, aside from being a low-maintenance pet, is actually a highly functional food. And I tell you, this little seed here has so much going for it. It's high in omega-3s, it's got all the essential amino acids, it's got phytonutrients and protein and antioxidants. I mean, I am jealous of this seed. I like to grind it. You don't have to. You can actually assimilate the nutrients from your chia seed. Unlike flaxseed, which you do have to grind to assimilate nutrients, I like to grind it just so that it mixes well into the crust. Then what would pumpkin pie be without cinnamon? We're going to add that. In addition to it being delicious and the aroma is fantastic, it regulates your blood sugar, so why not? Going to add a little sea salt. We're going to add our coconut oil, which a lot of people don't realize that coconut is actually not a tree nut. Many people believe it is. It is actually a drupe or a fruit, a one-seeded fruit. So if you have a tree nut allergy, which my son does, you don't have to be afraid of coconut because it is not a tree nut. Then we're going to add in our coconut nectar, which is the sap from the coconut tree. So it is highly nutritious. It is so delicious, and it comes in a bottle. It's wonderful. It caramelizes in this crust. You have no idea how delicious this is. Wait till you try this. We have our crust going here. What we're going to do is we're going to take our cupcake tin and we're going to just press a little bit, not too much, about 1.5 tablespoons into the cupcake well. We're going to make a pillow for our filling. We're not going to go up on the walls. You don't need it to go all the way up. You don't need it to surround your pumpkin pie filling. We're just going to press it in very, very nicely, and voila, we have our crust. We're going to bake it for 9 minutes because you want to get the crust to be very crisp before we put in our filling. Okay, so now we're going to make our delicious pumpkin pie filling. This is really good. Pumpkin, the star of the show here, filled with beta-carotene and vitamin A. You can't go wrong with pumpkin, and it's low-cal. So it is so good with cream. We are going to add in coconut cream. You should not be afraid of coconut cream because it is actually very healthful. A lot of people say, oh, saturated fat can't be good. It is. It does not raise your cholesterol. It actually boosts your metabolism so that when you're eating it, you're losing weight. How good is that? I don't think many creams could say that. Now you're going to add in your coconut nectar, and we're going to add in some tapioca starch because this will hold our pie filling together instead of eggs. We don't use eggs at the bakery. It's vegan. We're going to use pumpkin pie spice because at my age, I can't remember all the different spices that go into pumpkin pie anymore. Pumpkin pie spice does it for me. Just pick up a bottle and you're done. Just get that in there. Then we add in our vanilla, just a tablespoon is fine. And of course, my favorite, if you know me at all, I love stevia. Stevia is the best sweetener ever. 0 calories, it's natural, it's actually good for you. This one, Cal, K-A-L, does not have an aftertaste. If you find anything on the market that doesn't have an aftertaste, please let me know. This is the only one I have found that doesn't, so I'm always open to new suggestions. So we're going to fill our pumpkin pielettes. Now this is the baked version. This is what it'll look like. It's a little bit more tan than the raw version. And we're just going to fill it up maybe 3/4 full. So we're just going up a little bit, almost to the top, but not quite. And then we're going to add a little bit of streusel. If you want, you could just grind a few more oats when you're doing it at the beginning, add a little cinnamon, and that'll be your streusel. It's very easy. Just looks nice when it comes out of the oven and has a little streusel. And then we're going to dollop it at the end after it's baked, of course, with some cream. I love coconut cream. You can use whipped cream, whatever you like, but you can't go wrong. Even naked, this pumpkin pie is out of this world delicious. Okay, so we're just going to add our streusel on top, just a little bit. You don't have to be neat about it. And we're going to bake it for about 20-25 minutes, 325, until you see it turning a golden brown. And this is what it's going to look like when it comes out of the oven. Okay, so we're gonna take our little pumpkin pielettes out. We're going to take the cupcake liner off. We get those nice little grooves, you know, it looks like a little tart. And we're going to put them on a nice plate. And we're going to make our coconut cream whipped cream. This is amazing. You take the top, when you get a can of coconut milk, the top layer is usually the fattiest part of the coconut, and you just take that off and you just whip it up. You could add a little stevia if you want it sweet. This is not with stevia, it's just plain because it's so good just on its own. And you just whip it up and you put it in the fridge overnight and you'll get this consistency, and you just, whoa. That is amazing. You are just going to have the time of your life whipping up your cream here. And then you're going to eat it, of course. And I give you permission not to share. The combination of the crust and the creamy pumpkin with the spices, it's like a dreamy creaminess I can't describe. It's so good with the creamed whipped cream on top. I'm telling you, you're never gonna be able to get enough. So for this recipe, some tips, free giveaways, or if you just wanna order online, go to sweetdebbiesorganicupcakes.com.